again. I'm Stacy with Fiitwithstacy. Thanks for joining me again. This segment is going to be all dedicated to balance. So there's a lot of people out there that think they have great balance, and maybe you do. But you know what? You can always use a little bit of improvement on your balance. And I'm going to show you some ways to get from a very basic beginner balance to more of an advanced balance practice. You can start this programming as long as you've got clearance from your doctor. Again, any exercise program, anything you do, you should always get clearance from your doctor first. But for this one, we're going to work on it standing based. So if you're still chair based, I'm going to have another video for that. But for today, this is all standing based. Say somebody who's just needing the chair, we're going to start there where you hold onto the chair and you progress to the point where you don't need the chair and you're going to do some balance work. So first things first, you need to have a nice sturdy chair. Now this chair is pretty sturdy, it's not going anywhere, it's not going to collapse on me, it's not going to roll over, nothing like that, because you don't want to be dependent on a chair to go like this and then find out that that chair is not going to hold you. So check your chair, make sure it's stable, make sure it's not wobbling, because if that's wobbling, you're certainly going to wobble. Then secondly, make sure you have some sturdy, stable area you're standing on. When you get progressed more, you can always change your surface to add more intensity to it, but for today's purposes, you want a stable surface, nothing you're going to trip on, carpets, any of that kind of nature around. So you want to have no throw rugs, anything, no pets there either, because pets can get in the way. All right, what is balance? Balance is all about postural control, how we hold our posture and how we prevent ourselves from falling forward, sideways, backwards when we're walking. So it's control. And there's two different kinds of balance. Here's your static balance, standing still balance, and there's your movement-based balance while you're moving, again, side to side, forward and back. So those are kinds of balances, and we have senses that are involved in our balance. When we say senses, first of all, it's the proprioception. It's your unconscious awareness of your body in space. So how do your joints, your ankles, your knees, how do those things react to the way your body is present? If you're like this, how are you going to be? Your balance is going to be off because your body balance is off. If you're like this, you're going to be more balanced. The way those joints are going to react, how are you feeling in your awareness to your surroundings? Secondly, your eyesight. Is it the middle of the night? Is it dark? Is there something in front of your eyes? Maybe you don't have your glasses. That kind of thing will throw off your balance as well. Thirdly, inner ear vestibular system. Now, you ever have a bad ear infection or something going on, and you're just like, whoa, I just feel not so great today? That's inner ear disturbance, and that can cause your balance to be off. And we can show you ways to practice that to help you better with those inner ear disturbances. And lastly, if you're on any kind of medication, usually you will have the pamphlet that comes along with it. Read it, see if it makes any of those balance disturbances right off the bat, because if there are, then you'll know why you're having some balance difficulties. Maybe it's one of your reasons. But in general, we all need balance work, those more than others. And if you're new to balancing, you're going to start small and stay small for a while until you can master it, and then you make yourself a little bit more progressed. So I'm going to show you level 1 and take it up a couple notches, a few different exercises, and you're going to follow with me. And maybe you don't need level 1, maybe you need to skip to level 2 or 3 and go right ahead and do so. But for beginners, you're going to start with me at level 1 and we'll just change it up and progress. And then once you get to that point where you feel like this is enough, you stay at that point until you get that good, and then you go a little bit further. So you have your chair. We're going to just start. For balance, first of all, you have those feet normal. You roll your shoulders back, good posture. That's really important with balance. If you're hunched over like this and you're walking, say with your cane or whatever, your balance is already off. Because look at this, I have an easier way to fall over than if I'm like this, correct? So when you think about posture, you roll those shoulders back, engage those core tummy muscles, standing up nice and tall. And if you have your feet about shoulder width apart, you are in a solid foundation right there. You're not really going any place because it's rocking and rolling forward and back. You're kind of pretty stable. Now, to get our balance started here with some balance work, you can bring those feet in. All of a sudden, now we have a smaller base of support. So now, tipping side to side and forward and back is a little bit easier when you go side to side. See how that base of support changes? Okay, so that's what we're going to work on first of all, is base of support. So starting with that full base of support, Now, just practicing standing up. If that's where you are, you just practice standing up, getting your posture right. If that's good, come into that base of support smaller. Now, at that point, to change our base of support, again, we're going to stagger our feet. We're going to put one foot in front of the back. So it's like a tandem stance, stagger. One foot in front, one in back. Doesn't matter which is first and which is back. It doesn't matter because we will switch it. And from here, you're just standing and holding. Your goal is to do 30 seconds in each of these positions. So practice for 30 seconds, and then you're going to repeat the other foot forward. And that's your stance, 30 seconds. Now from the front, it looks like this. Now your feet can be totally like a railroad track, parallel, or you can have them completely one in front of the other, like this. This is much more of a challenge than the first one I just showed you. So you can stand there 30 seconds, then when you're done, you're going to switch it 30 seconds that way. All right, so far we've seen 3 different stances, normal, together, staggered. Now, 1 foot balance, standing on 1 foot, tiptoe on the other. Base of support is drastically reduced now, because no longer do we have 2 feet, we have 1 foot and a tiptoe. And at this point, you're just going to stand there and hold 30 seconds. And when you're done, you switch to the other foot, 30 seconds on this side. And you hold for 30 seconds. And if that's good, you move on to the next one. If that's not good, you stay here and you practice these ones and make sure that chair is right there. Again, level 1, you're holding on to that chair. Level 2, maybe a tip of a finger on that chair. Level 3, no hands. And then sometimes you want to go a little bit more. Level 4, arms up here, because you can have these arms out to help balance you. When you bring them in, you have no more balance factor. You're kind of just using your body to help stabilize there. So you can always put your hands there. All right, now say that's still too easy for you. At that point, you're going to go onto 1 foot and you're going to bring the foot up behind you and just going to hold. And again, at this point, you're either holding onto the chair, using 1 finger, or not using any hands whatsoever. And then you're going to do the same thing, switching. 1 foot comes up behind you. So you're on 1 foot base at this point, and you just hold 30 seconds. So that's just our stances. The stances, you can just change them up, changing them up. Now, let's add some movement to those stances, okay? So first of all, we're going to add how about, let me move my chair back a little bit, because I don't need the chair for this one. You may need the chair, so keep the chair really close. We're going to do a heel-toe walk. I'm going to turn sideways. So you're just going to go heel-toe, our staggered stance, heel-toe, heel-toe, heel-toe. Then you turn around and go the other direction with a heel-toe, heel-toe. Hands can be on your hips, hands can be out to the side. Hands can be wherever you need them to be, even on the chair, if you need to have them on the chair, heel-toe. So that's our stagger stance with some movement. Now, our foot stance that we had 1 foot stance, when you're on the tiptoe, let's do this, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a step to the side and land with 1 foot with a tiptoe. So step and tiptoe. We're doing movement in a sideways balance now. Movement in a sideways balance. Step and tiptoe. Step and tiptoe. Now sideways balance. Why practice that? Well, have you ever shuffled down a movie theater aisle or a pew in a church? Well, this is one of those movements you have to work on, so you're not falling into somebody's lap, right? So the sideways balance. Now, wait a minute, I changed it up. My knee is bent, my foot is off the floor, and I'm holding a little bit longer. Up and hold. You can use arms however you need to. If you need to hold the chair, please get a hold of that chair at any point. And you're going sideways and holding. Try holding 4 seconds at a time. Then maybe trying 8 seconds on each side. And then maybe progress eventually into that 30 seconds each way. All right, so sideways balance. Now, we have forward balance with our stagger stance. We've had sideways balance. What about backwards balance? Now, backwards balance. Do you ever feel like you're going to fall backwards? You have to practice that falling back feeling so that way your body can have the mind and body correlation. So we're going to start either tiptoe or leg is raised and heels behind. Step back and lifting the foot, or tiptoe. So you're either on a tiptoe to tiptoe forwards and back, forward and back, and you hold as long as you like, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 8 seconds, or You have the forward and the back. The forward movement with a little lean to progress it, and a backward movement with a little lean. A forward and a back. And say you need that chair there. You go right ahead and use the chair. So you have your forward and your back. Your forward with a lean and your backward with a lean. Small little lean just to get that extra core engagement right there. Okay, well, let's go back into our staggered stance. Another one we can work off that staggered stance. So you have this staggered stance, and you're going to want the chair close by because this one's a little bit more advanced. So you're in your staggered stance. It can be totally straight line, or it can be a parallel line with those feet. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to raise back onto your toes, and then raise onto your heels. Raise onto your toes, and then to your heels. You're rocking forward and rocking back. A little forward and backward movement. Forward and backwards. You're going to feel your calves, your ankles. You're going to get a little workout doing this one. And then you're going to want to switch your feet. Same thing the other way, forward and backward. Or if you want to keep it more of a static movement, but a little movement to it, so you're going to get into that spot, and you're going to raise the front toe up, raise the back toe up, and hold, just like you're on a surfboard here. Hold. Just hold, front toes up, back heel is raised, and hold. And then say that's easy. You make it a little bit bigger, raise and lift. Getting a workout in those lower legs, ankle areas. All right, now, those are just stances, a little bit of movement added to those stances. One other thing you can do is add extra things to it. So say you're working on your heel-toe walk. So I got my heel-toe walk going, heel-toe, and I'm going along and I'm looking right at the floor. So say I'm doing really great with that. Now maybe I want to make it a little different. Maybe I want to make it a little harder for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close my eyes. You can't see because I have sunglasses on, but I'm closing my eyes and I'm doing my heel-toe walk. And I'm going to heel-toe walk backwards, heel-toe backwards. And heel-toe forwards, my eyes closed. Changing your eyes will change your eyesight, which closing your eyes simulates the darkness. So heel-toes, you can close your eyes. You can do the heel-toes while you turn your head. So maybe you're going to heel-toe forward, and turn your head and look at your neighbor's house and look around. Heel-toe, and then heel-toe backwards, and look around. Don't focus on the spot. If you heel-toe and you don't look around at that spot on the floor, and you look around your surroundings, there's more distractions, your more head's turning, more vestibular work. Your head's looking up, down, to the side, and you get more vestibular work. So those are ways to add a little bit more to your balance factor work. Okay, so we just covered some of the basics today. We'll do some exercises together another day with some more advanced work. I just want you to start working on those small little starting standard to smaller to even smaller with that basic support. Practice there. Once you get that a little bit better, come on back and join me again and we'll do some more advanced balance work. But these are all great suggestions. Forward, backwards, sideways balance. You want to practice all those different directions because you want to stay well-rounded. You guys have a great day. Thanks again for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful afternoon. Take care.